G'day everyone, Jackson here. Welcome back to the daily endeavours for the 9th of December. So we've got a 15 seal set, 10 Humanoid Foes in PvE, find more materials 12 times, 1 quest in Bruma and Cyrodiil, 2 survey reports, and 2,000 fortunes in the Infinite Archive. So I know this one's also going to be a bit late. I'm sorry, it's my birthday, so having celebrations tonight. I've actually gone out of my way to do this one, so everyone's celebrating, but it's okay. I'll go back to it. I just want to get this one done and then head off. So, not a great set, not a great birthday gift, I think. But 2 survey reports, 12 raw materials, and 10 humanoid foes. This one's really easy. This one's straightforward too. This one here just depends. These 3 here just depend on what you got available. 2 survey reports is definitely your best bet. But if you don't have 2 survey reports, like, you kind of just can't do this one. So, the easiest way to get a bunch of survey reports is to do a bunch of writs. Doesn't matter which writs you do, regardless of how far you are into your crafting. Each writ has a 12.5% chance to give you a survey. So if you really want to do surveys, you'd have to do a ton of writs tonight and try and get some. If you've got some, great. If not, your other options are a quest in Bruma, which is found here. If you've got a DC... Sorry, one sec. Either DC or EP, red or blue, they'll both take this one. So Bruma is a strategic location, so you're going to find that this place is just constantly switching sides, which is a pain in the ass, because it can be a pain in the ass, can also be helpful depending on who takes it. So this one, it's kind of good, because if your faction owns it, you can travel right here, and it's very easy to get to. If your faction doesn't own it, though, you're fucked, because you're going to have to travel out. Could mean traveling from Dragonclaw, could mean traveling from Alicewell, and if you've only got if you've only got AD characters, it could be a real pain in the ass to get here. So, yeah, it just depends. Maybe AD might take the whole map, but yeah, you just can't really rely on that. So, yeah, the quests themselves are fairly easy. You got... Wow, I had no idea. Enemy players can actually spot you in here. Yeah, I had no idea. Alright, so... Yeah, that changes things. I thought this place was actually safe. Yeah, so just be careful when you're in here, because enemy players can come in and do stuff. But yeah, so there's a quest giver here. There's also a quest giver in the, I believe, the church as well. And there's 2. The quests themselves are relatively easy. It's just like, go here, do this, kill X, like, slightly difficult NPC, and just do other stuff. But the players, like some players like that, they won't be as nice as that one there was. Some of them will fight you. Most times people are just here to get this done and then move on, but now, yeah, can't always rely on that. And yeah, like most of them most of the quests will be within the grounds of Bruma, but yeah, just depends on what you get. Some of them can be a bit more painful than others. I think there's one that makes you go into a delve. I know for this one, I believe this one that... actually, no. I think it's Hayden Hall that makes you go to a delve. Is it? I don't know. I remember there being one that makes you go to a delve, and it's like far away. But yeah, basically just do the quest, and it's just one of those. So yeah, it doesn't take long. Just, you might get killed, and you might have to bloody respawn. It's painful. But for now, you know, Bruma's under our control, so I can just respawn real quick. Yeah, I had no idea that enemy players can actually see you in here. That's fucking annoying. I was half expecting that person to smack the shit out of me, but that's good. Alright, so if you get here and you complete this and you don't want to have to travel all the way out to get out, what you can do is go to Imperial City and enter the campaign here, and it will take you from this place right here into a safe zone in Imperial City, which can be very helpful if you need to get out of here in a pinch. Alright, so once you get here, you just look for the circular icon on the minimap this way, and that will take you to the exit. So it just takes you straight back to the overland. Alright, so refining raw materials. I only ever advise using rough wood. Rough wood is the cheapest option by far. Other options like jewelry, dust, clothing, raw, like Ancestor Silk and stuff like that. It's generally a lot more expensive than Ruby Ash or Maple's going to be. They're the two options I suggest: Ruby Ash or Maple. They're you'll find them a lot in guild stores. They're relatively cheap. It's like a couple of thousand for a full stack, which is great. So you're going to need 120 in total. Sounds like a lot, but believe me, it's quite cheap considering what it used to be. So you need to do 12 of these, which will cost you 120. As soon as you do that, that's it. So either I usually just stash a bunch of rough wood, just like in my bank, ready to go for whenever I need it. But if not, you can just use other stuff. You know, doing your surveys today might help, because if you do 2 surveys, that's well, if you do 1 survey, I think it's 120 in total minimum. If you do 2 surveys, I think it ends up being yeah, like 200 plus. So yeah, when you do surveys, you might have enough to refine. Now, one thing to consider, well, 2 things to consider actually. So an example here is metal extraction. So if you're going to do woodworking, it's not that big of a deal for woodworking because the materials aren't all that expensive. But wood extraction, for example, whenever you refine stuff, increases the odds of getting the improving materials from them. So having this is good if you're going to refine, because you might get some useful goodies from it. Same thing with the champion point meticulous disassembly. Does the same thing, increases the chance of getting you know, things like tempering alloys and rosin and drag wax from this stuff, which can be really helpful. Especially drag wax. That stuff is still quite expensive in relation to other stuff. What the fuck? Auridon never ceases to amaze. Okay, so Humanoid Foes. My suggestion for this, you can find Humanoid Foes all over the place, but there's 2 places especially that I suggest. Darkshade Caverns 1 and Volenfell. If you've got access to either of these, it'd be great. It's a bit annoying because both of these are on the opposite sides of like maps, but best way to do it, I suggest, is if you don't have access to either of these. So if you queue for these dungeons at some point, you should have access to one of these, but yeah, if you haven't, it's fine. So if you don't own either, what I would suggest is coming to Stone Pools, using the Boatswain, take it to Deshan, and then just go east this way, down here, past the Wild Boss, and find Darkshade Caverns 1 here. So travel inside, and the reason you want to travel to these is they're instanced, so other players can actually get in here and kill these things when you're killing them, which means that you can just take these things whenever you want, and yeah, nobody else can get in the way. I mean, it doesn't really matter too much, because unlike killing with class abilities or weapon abilities, as long as you don't actually have to get the killing blow, as long as you dealt damage or are actually in combat with these enemies, it'll count. So even if you like group up with a friend and you both just start hammering at some stuff in a public dungeon or whatever, you can do this pretty easy. Public dungeons, let's see. I don't know if there's many that are easily accessible that have humanoid enemies. Let me check. I guess Valmance is quite close to the Wayshrine that you start with, but yeah, you'll have to travel from this one to this one if you use the Boatswain. Crimson Cove's quite close. You travel by Boatswain here, so you could just go up here, go down here, and cross the water and get to Crimson Cove. This is full of Imperial enemies that you can kill. The entrance of Lost City of the Nototambu. If you want to do the weekly today, weekly is really easy. So Nototambu has a bunch of humanoid enemies at the start, so you can do the weekly while you do the daily. I'll be uploading the daily soon as well, after my party's done. I'm sure you can understand. But yeah, I'll do that tonight. Probably like 5 or 6 hours from now, maybe. We'll see. But yeah, I think nothing. Actually, Millennial's full as well. But you'd have to go from here with the Boatswain as well. You know, there's public dungeons out there you can use, but I definitely prefer using dungeons because you don't have to deal with other people. And sometimes so the only annoying thing about people is they'll kill the people before you can get a chance to hit them, and then you've got to wait for them to respawn, which can be annoying. It won't take too long. This is definitely one of the best options for killing enemies as far as that is concerned, but yeah, just my preferred way. So when you get into Volenfell, there'll be humanoid enemies here, and then there'll be another mob up here. Darkshade Caverns is basically the same thing, except instead of going upwards, you go downwards into a cave, and there's just basically two groups of enemies. So this one here will pull automatically once you get close enough to them. Just group them together here. Smash them. Smash them. Now there's a group of Sentries here, you don't really want to bother with them. It's only this group here that you want to kill. Yeah, and we're done. Clean up. And let's get out of here. You'll have heard me talk a lot about hold on to some surveys, because sometime it'll be important. Now's the day. So unfortunately this time it's 2, which is bloody annoying. So you're gonna need 2 surveys, otherwise you can't do this. I'm pretty sure, because it's interesting. What happens is, as soon as you interact with any of the items here, it counts as 1, right? So unfortunately I don't know that there's a way to trick this into getting the same survey, because as soon as you leave, I'm pretty sure it just leaves all the stuff here, and you don't actually you can actually collect it again. So if I go, because I want to collect this, because Holland's always super good. If I just like leave, what happens? Okay. I guess I didn't go far enough away. Holy shit. You can get really far away from this. I'm going to travel to the other side of the map and then travel back. It's still here? What? Alright, I'm going to travel out of the zone and then come back. See if it lets me come back. Okay, so yeah, it's despawn. Nope, unfortunately you can't do it that way. I'll have to check again later if on another account if you can do that. But I traveled across the map. It stayed, and I couldn't. Whenever I interacted, didn't do anything. I left the zone and it despawned. So it looks like you have to do 2 surveys, sadly. But yeah. So if you want help with this, my suggestion is get an add-on called Lost Treasure. It shows on the map where the surveys are located. So you know, if I go to Apocrypha, it shows it here. So yeah, it just makes it easy to find surveys that you've got. It just have to be in inventory at the time. Don't know what else I can say about that. Generally, I like to keep enchanted ones in my inventory because the rest of the stuff's quite useful. You know, Columbine and all that. Yeah, it just depends on what you want. Woodworking ones are also usually okay to keep in your inventory as well, because those are the ones you use for harvesting resources. Or refining, I should say. Alright, let's move on. Alright, so last up, and definitely least, I think, is spend 2,000 Archival Fortunes in Infinite Archive. So, how do you get Archival Fortunes and how do you use them? Archival Fortunes is a currency, so you get this from Infinite Archive. Every boss that you beat in a cycle gives you 200. 210 or 220, I think, if you use ESO+. And then every arc that you go up, so every full thing that you do, kill Thoat, increases to 300, then to 400, and so on. Completing the quest for Infinite Archive gives you 500, and killing Thoat also gives you 500. So completing a whole arc, where you kill the 4 bosses for 200 each, Thoat for 200, and then completing the quest is a total of 1,500. That is the main reason I hate this one so much, because it is easy to spend 2,000 fortunes and get this done super quickly, but the amount of preparation that you need to go through in order to do this if you don't have 200 is fucking crazy. It's like 30-40 minutes maybe if you because it's 1,500 fortunes, and then it's, you know, ESO plus you get like, I think 1,600 instead. Even ESO plus or not, you have to do another cycle, another 2 cycles, I think, because it's 1,500 plus the 300 from one cycle and then 300 from the other. So yeah, 2 extra cycles. So 1.5 full, 1.5 of a arc of Infinite Archive, which is a lot of work. That's like 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how good your build is and how how good the abilities you get are. Now you've also got the things like the mini games and the pilferers, but mini games, if you do it, if you've only got one character and you have already done tons of mini games, you might only get the hard ones, which you might not complete them, you might not get anything for them. You can't really rely on those. And two, the pilferers don't always show up; they're just RNG, so you can't really rely on them either. So if you're unlucky, you might have to do the whole thing at 1.5 full run, which can take fucking ages. So I'll show you how quickly you can spend 2,000. We'll go Combo Edge. That's it. Very quick. But getting the 2,000, if you don't have it already, takes a fucking eternity. Takes ages. So I don't recommend this one unless you do Infinite Archive on the reg and you like doing this place. And in that case, yeah, fair enough. There's things you can get. For example, the mount. The malographic mount, this one here, does look pretty fucking cool on an Arcanist, I think. It depends on who you are, though. Some people don't like it, and I totally understand. It is a bit wacky. But yeah, this is one of the things you can get from Infinite Archive if you do it enough, but you have to do it a lot, and people have already got it. Might not care about that sort of thing anymore. But yeah, this is definitely your last resort if you can't do the other two. If you don't want to do the other two, this is one you can do. But I just think for 2,000 Archive of Fortunes, the amount of time it takes to actually get this much, it's just not worth 15 seals. I don't think it is, anyway. Alright, so if you've got any other questions about any of this stuff, as always, just let me know. But for now, that should be everything. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for your support as always, and I'll see you next time. Take care.